Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory MyNBA here in NBA 2K26. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the conference finals against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we managed to beat them in 5 games. So up to this finals, we've only lost 2 games, which is quite impressive again. And we are having a rematch of last year's final, as we will be taking on the 76ers. So this is going to be another tough matchup, of course. Obviously, the 76ers have been a really good team in this series. Obviously, they've won back-to-back championships before we won our three-peat. And obviously, last year we played them in the finals. So this is kind of one where they want to get redemption on us so they could get their 3rd championship in 6 years. Meanwhile, for us, of course, we're looking for our 4th consecutive. So I'm hoping we're able to do it. I think we definitely can, especially because we got some pretty good news in last episode that Rex Wright will be returning for this finals. He's only day-to-day now, so he will be missing the first game at least of the series, but he should get at least a game or 2 in the series, and he'll at least be out there with the boys again at least one more time, because he's missed a lot of games due to injuries this season, and obviously it wasn't the year he was expecting. He has had some still good stats throughout the year, but obviously his injuries have been getting worse and worse over the last year or so. So hopefully he could stay healthy once he's back in the lineup, and then hopefully he could help contribute to what has been a really, really good playoff run up to this point in time. Because if we go to our player stats from the playoffs so far at this point, you can see that we are getting some pretty decent scoring across the board, even without Rex. And actually, that's from the regular season. Can I just do a playoffs? I guess that's just regular season stats. I want to go to playoff stats. But we've been getting some good stats across the board here. As you can see, Evans dropping 27.4 points per game in the playoffs. Westbrook 18.6, Savenko 17.6. Like, we're getting a lot of guys over 10 points. And obviously adding Rex Wright to that mix, he should be an over 10 points per game player as well. So it is just going to improve our scoring more so. Also, it should help us out with the assist game a little bit too, because I'm pretty sure Rex is a great distributor of the ball. So I'm excited to see what that could do for our team. But obviously that's going to mean lower playing time for guys like Warren and Bowman and all that guys that have been getting playing time throughout this playoff run, but at the same time, at least we'll have one of our best players back, which is quite exciting. So excited to see how that helps out our team in terms of the playoffs. But you can see, like, in the terms of how our run has been so far, Evans has usually been the main guy. In the first round, you can see Evans and Westbrook off to a really good start. We had a lot of guys still over 10 points per game at that point. Second round, it was a little bit different. But Evans was really good in the second round, especially 33.3 points per game. So I think that's obviously where he showed up the most. But then you can see in the conference finals, Evans was obviously by far still the best player. We did have some guys like Dennis who were really good in that second round as well, or conference finals, I should say, as well. So excited to see if there's a different player that steps up this year, because obviously Evans has been the main machine for this team. He's won MVPs, he's won conference finals MVPs, finals MVPs, and I would expect him to win finals MVP again this year if we do in fact win the championship. But it would be interesting to see if there's a different guy that would step up for our team this season. But for my guessing, it's probably just going to be Evans again, just because Evans seems like he's going to end up having one of the best careers in NBA history. Like, he's literally only 25 years old and he's already got so many awards and championships that this guy's making LeBron James look like not as good, which is kind of insane. So excited to see what Evans could do as the series goes on. So anyways, with that said, let's quickly take a look again at the 76ers, even though we did play them last year, and then we'll get into this finals matchup and see if we can pull off a 4-peat, which is obviously, I don't think it's ever been done in NBA history before, so that would be quite impressive if we can get it done. But you can see what their strengths and weaknesses are. Their weaknesses are vertical, stealing, and agility, but they do have strength in blocks, defensive IQ, and three-point shooting, so they are a solid defensive team compared to us. And then you can see, obviously, their roster is actually pretty solid. This year, they do have Jared McCain in the lineup. Last year, when we played them in the finals, I'm pretty sure he was battling injury, because he's had injuries throughout his entire career at this point, and kind of realistic to real life as well. But if we look at his health compared to somebody like Rex Wright on our team, you can see that Jared McCain has 2 really bad knees, and then a lot of his other areas are yellow, so there is a good chance that he could get injured in this finals against us. But obviously we're not wishing that upon him, but he is definitely a difference maker for this Philadelphia team. You can see averaging 25 points per game throughout the playoffs. So gotta watch out for him, gotta watch out for Edge coming in. Of course, Macy, Harden, those guys are really good too. Same goes for Burt Atkins. This Nador guy's a little bit lower end, but he is still decent, probably in rebounding and all that. But You could definitely see this team is definitely well built up, and you can see why they were the second best team during the entire season and why they've gotten to back-to-back finals once again. So this is going to be probably another great matchup for the ages. Excited to see what could happen. A little nervous at times too, because obviously I know Philadelphia is the type of team that could win multiple games against us. So let's see what ends up happening in this finals. Obviously we got home court advantage. Let's hopefully use it to our advantage, and hopefully we can find a way to, like I said, win that 4th straight championship. So let's actually rebuild rotation. Actually, I shouldn't do rebuild rotations yet because I don't want Rex in the lineup yet because of his injury. So I guess I will keep the minutes probably the same for now. Once Rex fully healthy, of course, then we'll go rebuild rotations, and then it'll throw him in where he wants them to be in, and we probably will do whatever the coach is suggesting at that point. But let's get to game one. Once again, Rex Wright will be watching from probably, I guess, the bench in a sense, but like I said, he is very close to being back, and we have not had him this entire playoff run. So once we have him, is he going to make us that much better? Let's go simulate simcast, and let's see what ends up happening. It is telling me to give less minutes to Washburn and Warren, but I don't really care, to be honest, because right now we're just trying to balance out the playing time a little bit while we wait, obviously, for one of our best players to return. So let's get off to a good start here, and let's hope that we continue to play like we did in the last few rounds. First quarter underway here in Anchorage. Let's get off to a good start, boys. Played some good defensive basketball, and hopefully Jared McCain isn't the difference maker for the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I said, he did not play last year in the finals. I'm pretty sure he was injured near the end of the conference finals or something like that, but he's definitely the type of player that could help them with their offensive load. So we got to make sure that he's not a difference maker in this, and hopefully we aren't the type of team that takes too many fouls early into games as well, because obviously we got to kind of stay disciplined against a team like this. Anyways, we're down by 5 points to start the game. Not terrible, 32-27. Obviously, I'd like to see our offense do a little bit better, and defense would like to do a little bit better, but there's still a lot of game left to go, and we're only down by a couple points, so it's not too bad in the early going. So far, JT Warren's been the best player, 8 points through 5 minutes, so it did say to give him less minutes, but so far he seems like he's doing really good off the bench. Westbrook with 6 points through 6 minutes, Carroll and Goodwin on 4 points, Washburn on 3, Bowman on 2 in 2 minutes, and then everybody else has nothing. So Evans obviously off to a little bit of a slow start, does have 3 rebounds and 2 assists, but he has 2 fouls already through 4 minutes, so he didn't get really a lot of playing time in that first because he was probably fouling people. Bishop so far also has no points. Menko has no points, so we definitely need those guys to step up, of course, because those are some of the top players on this roster. So if we get scoring from our starters, that's what will help a lot, but it's good to see our bench guys have at least kept this game close when those starters haven't done stuff. Let's see if we can maybe get the lead into halftime. That would be a decent way to respond. Second quarter underway. Come on, boys. Let's get those starters getting points, as now we're almost in that back and forth territory because it's literally almost like a one-possession game, but looks like our offense is still kind of a little slow to start, but like I said, the 76ers are a good defensive team, so kind of makes some sense. And now we have taken our first lead of the night. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's not look back. Let's keep looking forward and keep on pushing. Like I said, we got to kind of go on a run here. I know the 76ers do have a good offense too, but if we could contain their offense and we keep on playing our offensive game, we should be able to easily win games. But I feel like this is going to be a very tight series, as we're only up by a couple points, and we're up by 2 points going into the second half, but we do have the lead, which is a good way to respond to the first quarter. We outscored them 34-26. So far, JT Warren is looking like the guy, 11 points through 8 minutes. He does have 2 fouls already, though, so a lot of guys are fouling. We do have some decent depth scoring because Evans is starting to pick up his points. He didn't foul anybody in that quarter, too. He's up to 9 points. Westbrook on 9, Carroll on 9, Goodwin on 6, Semenko's on 6, Washburn on 5, Bishop on 2, Anderson on 2, and same with Bowman. So, majority of players on our team have points except for Bridges and Lloyd. But it's good to see guys like Semenko, obviously, guys like Westbrook, guys like Evans starting to pick up their points a little bit and help this team out more so. So if Evans keeps on playing like he does, he'll eventually drop over 20 points again, but hopefully he does not foul out before the end of the game. I don't think he will at this point, but he could. But right now at halftime, we are doing better than them in everything except for free throws. They've had 26 trips to the free throw line. We've only had 12, so we definitely got to be a little bit more disciplined when it comes to giving them free throws, because obviously that can make a big difference in a game. Anyways, third quarter underway. Let's see if we could build up a bigger lead than 2 points. Right now, they have taken that lead back, which is not ideal, as their offense is off to a little bit of a slow start here in the third quarter, but the good thing is this game is still in that back and forth territory. And like I said, I expect this game to be probably close right till the end. Like, this could be the type of game that goes to overtime, double overtime, all that type of thing, just based on how these teams play and how good they actually are. So, like, it might come down to a final shot, so to speak, in this one, unless our team goes on a run, which we are known for going on some good runs in some of these games. Is at the end of the third quarter, it's going to be a 95-88 lead, so that was probably one of our runs. We're up by 7 points headed into the fourth quarter. Obviously, we need to get off to a good start in the fourth as well, though, but that's definitely our biggest lead of the night. And so far, Carroll's leading away with 17 points through 17 minutes. Semenko is already fouled out after 20 minutes. That's not ideal. That is not ideal. Evans is one foul away from fouling out as well with 5 fouls through 25 minutes, but he only has 13 points, so I don't like how much we've been fouling against the 76ers, but it's good that we do have a lead. But we are getting that depth scoring, at least to guys like Washburn and Warren have helped out a lot, because without them, we'd obviously be trailing in a game like this. But obviously, at the same time, I do not like that all these guys are fouling that much. Obviously, once Rex is back, I don't think he fouls that much, so he might be able to help us be a bit more disciplined. But you can see Semenko obviously fouling out after 20 minutes is bad. Evans could foul out in this fourth quarter, which would not be good whatsoever. Carroll is 2 fouls away from fouling out, and then we have a couple guys on 3, 1 guy on 2, and a bunch of other guys on 1. So far, the only guy that has not taken a foul is Bishop, which is kind of surprising because obviously last year we've seen Bishop foul out a couple times, but that was when there was a really strong big man on the other team. So it is good that we have the lead, but I'm not liking our discipline in this game so far. So let's hope that Evans doesn't foul out here, because that's when they could obviously come back, considering he's our best player right now. Anyways, fourth quarter underway. Let's see if we could get some more points on the board, build up a big lead. And yeah, stay at least disciplined and not let them get to that free throw line. Looks like we're building up over almost a 10-point lead, which is huge at this point. So it looks like so far the team is still picking up the points, which is exactly what we need, especially if a guy like Evans has fouled out by now. Obviously, it seems like our bench is still doing a good job. And we should probably have this game in the bag, which is huge, because it looked a little nerve-wracking until we went, obviously, on that little bit of a run. And it looks like we're going to win quite convincingly by around 20 points, almost 15 points. Okay, not as crazy, but still a 131-116 win. Definitely a good way to start off the finals, as we win the last 3 quarters of the game. They only won the first quarter, technically. And we held them to under 30 points in each quarter, which is decent. So Carroll dropped 22 points to lead the team. Westbrook had 19. We had Evans on 18. He did end up fouling out after 30 minutes, but at least he played 5 minutes of that fourth quarter, so that kind of helped a bit. Washburn on 18 points. We had Goodwin on 14. Semenko on 14. Warren on 11. Bishop on 8. And then Rex actually came in and played, even though I had him scratched. I guess he's technically not scratched, as just minutes were turned off, but Rex did come in and play a little bit. It says 0 minutes played, but he put up a 3-pointer, so I don't know about that, but I guess it's just because a couple guys fell out that the coach put him in or something like that. But shout out to Rex for dropping a 3. But we got some fantastic depth scoring in that game. A lot of guys over 10 points, and that's definitely what makes our team a successful team. In terms of team comparison, at the end of that game, we outshot them in 59% to 41%. 3-point percentage, we were better at 48 to 38, even though we both hit the same amount of shots. And then their free throws were better, but they had almost double the amount of free throws, or more than double, I should say, actually, because we had 25. They had 53 attempts at the free throw line. So that's definitely something I'd like to still see our team clean up a little bit. Offensive rebounds, they had more than us, but we had more defensive rebounds. They stole the ball more than us. We blocked more. They had more turnovers, though. And yeah, we had 10 more team fouls than they did, which is kind of insane. Our biggest lead was 22. Their biggest lead was 9 at one point in time. All right, well, at least we have a 1-0 series lead. Let's go back to our coaching game plan. Is Rex going to be healthy for the next game? Let me actually just go similar with Simcast on this for a second and see if Rex is actually healthy now. Because if Rex is healthy, we're definitely throwing him back in. He is, I think, because he's in the green now. Let me go to the roster for a second. It still says day-to-day, but it shows him in a green. So I'd assume that means he's fully healthy. So I think we are going to go to rebuild rotations and let the coach do what he does best here. So Rex will be getting 28 minutes. So he is getting a little bit lower minutes than normal. His overall actually dropped to an 88. So I don't know if that's due to his injury or whatever, but he did drop off from a 90, which is kind of interesting. And then, of course, obviously Washburn's going to be getting less minutes because of that. But Warren is going to be not playing any minutes. I could put Warren in over Lloyd, to be honest. Lloyd has been quiet. So you know what? I'm going to swap the two of them and give Warren the minutes over Lloyd. I just don't feel like Lloyd's somebody that's going to be here much longer. And he's not a hugely great offensive player. I like how Warren played that last game, so I'll give Warren some minutes. I would love to give Bowman and Anderson minutes. Maybe once I let go of Bridges in the offseason, we could do that. But for the time being, Bridges has to be in that spot, I guess. So Rex Wright fully back and ready to play his first full game. 28 minutes tonight. Hopefully he doesn't foul out. Hopefully he has a strong game, and hopefully he stays healthy, most importantly, because he could be a big factor in helping us win this title again. Obviously I think he was a Finals MVP one year, if I remember right. So he has been really good in the past in the playoffs. So let's go simulate a simcast. It is telling me still to give less minutes to Warren, and it is saying that Rex is still injured, but he's in the green, so I think he should be fine. It's not like he's in the yellow or red anymore. Let's deal with it, and let's see how Rex does it in his full-on return. First quarter underway of Game 2. But Rex, having him back is going to be awesome because, like I said, he's a really good offensive player. He doesn't just put up points sometimes. Sometimes he's also doing a lot of good setup work, kind of like what Carroll does. So I'm really excited just to have him back in our lineup. Like, it might make us too good almost in a way. But at the same time, we're just really happy to have him back. But we are down by a lot of points here early on, which is not ideal. So I don't know if we're taking a lot of fouls here in the early going, but maybe one of our worst first quarters in quite a while is we're going to be down by 13 points going into the second. So that's not ideal. The good thing is we do have the offense and defensive play that we could come back in games like this. But if we have a lot of people on multiple fouls already, this might be a really tough game for our team. But so far, Washburn's dropped 5 points. We have Westbrook on 4, Carroll, Evans, and Semenko on 3. Rex has dropped 2 through 8 minutes. He already has 3 rebounds as well, so he could definitely help us on the glass a bit. And he has an assist. He also has a block, so nice little block for Rex. Goodwin's on 2 points as well. Looks like we're getting really good depth scoring because everybody on the team has points, except for Bridges, who has not played a single minute at this point. Obviously, Lloyd is not playing in this game, but looking pretty good up to this point in time, obviously, but not looking good in the score sheet. So I think we just obviously need to be a little bit better at, I guess, where are we weak at? I guess it's technically our field goal percentage because it's only at 42%. I think that's where we've been weak. Also, the fact that we've only had 3 free throws is pretty bad. They've had 9 trips, so both teams have been not super undisciplined in that first, but we're for some reason down by a lot of points early on. So that's the bad thing. So let's see if we could get back and make this game closer, at least going into halftime. And then hopefully in the second half, we could start to take over again. Second quarter underway, but we need to go on a little bit of a run here if we want to win this game, I think. I don't even know why we're down by this much, but maybe somebody on their team is just going off completely and it's hard to contain them because we're almost down by 20 points. Now we're down by 20 points. Like I said, this might be one of our worst playoff games in quite a while, but I do still think this team has it in them that they could obviously get closer and closer in the second half or near the end of this first half, but it is going to be a tough game to come back from. As long as we can find ways to win in Philadelphia, I'm not going to complain about losing a game on home court, but obviously the Philadelphia is much tougher than any team we've played before, as we're down by 22 points at halftime, so somebody must be going off. It's probably like Jared McCain or something like that, but so far, a little bit of a tough start for the boys. Evans has dropped 15 points through 17 minutes. He already has 4 fouls. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's one thing that's a little bit bad about Evans is he fouls out occasionally in the playoffs. He is a great offensive player, great everything pretty much, but he definitely has a lot of discipline, so it would be nice if he could be a bit more disciplined going forward. Anyways, Washburn's on 10 points, Semenko's on 7, Westbrook's on 6, Carroll on 5, Goodwin on 5. Rex is still only on 2 points, but he is in his first game back. I hope he could be a little bit better in the game coming up and stuff like that, but hopefully he's okay going forward. Bishop's on 2 points. Still looks like we're getting good depth scoring. Like literally everybody that's played in the game has had some points. But it looks like Philadelphia, VJ Edgecombe and Burt Atkins are kind of going off a bit. And that's going to be really tough to contain when VJ Edgecombe already has 27 points at halftime. So we got to find a way to contain him. Free throws, we've hit every single one of our free throws, but they've had 8 more attempts right now. The difference is clearly in the field goal percentage, I guess. And the fact that we probably fouled too many times, I guess. Offensive rebounds are the same. They've outdone us in defensive rebounding. Stealing are the same. Blocks are the same. Turnovers we've had more of. We've fouled a little bit more, but not by a lot. But they are still up by a huge margin. If we come back in a second half, it'd be one of the biggest wins of all time probably for our team. But let's get in this third quarter and see if we could at least make this game close. Like I said, I don't care if we lose this game, to be honest. But we got to make sure that we at least win some games in Philadelphia. And we knew that they were going to be the type of team that could take at least one game against us. So third quarter underway. Let's see if we can make this game somewhat close again, or is this game already lost by now? Looks like we're off to an okay offensive start here in the third, but they're still kind of matching us for the most part, as our team is trying its hardest to get this game at least close, so that way we can maybe win in the fourth quarter. As we're down by 14 points, we are on a pretty solid run here, but obviously we're still trying to truck away from behind, and it's really tough to win from behind when you're down by this much still. But it looks like we're at least having a very solid third quarter here. And at the end of the third quarter, we're going to be down by 14 points, I think. Yeah, 14 points, but they already have 110 points. So this is going to be probably a tough one to still rally back from. But that was a good quarter for us. We did score 40 points. They scored 32. We just got to make sure we could put their offense to under 30 points. And then if we could drop another 40-point quarter, we could win probably. But Evans is one foul away from fouling out again. 24 points so far for him. Then we have Westbrook, Bishop on 12, Semenko on 11, Washburn on 10, Carroll on 10, Goodwin on 7. Rex has got a 6, 5, and 5. That's not too bad. We have Bridges on 2 and 2, Warren on 2, and then obviously nobody else has played. So looking decent still, but obviously we fell apart early on, and that's probably what's going to end up hurting us at the end of this game. Looks like we're doing better at free throws than they are. They're doing better in three-point percentage by a long shot, so that's probably a big difference. And both teams are over 50% in field goals right now, so I think we just need to get better in our three-point shooting, and we could make this game close again if that actually does end up getting going. All right, so can we come back in this fourth quarter? We're down by a lot, but let's at least give ourselves maybe some momentum for next game if we are going to lose this game. So let's see what happens. Fourth quarter underway. Can we make this game close again? Go on a bit of a run to start. Maybe make this a single-digit game. It is a single-digit game all of a sudden. Our team's trying to rally back still, but they're up by 9 points. There's still enough time to win this game. We're down by 8 now. Yeah, now they're starting to get their offense going. Okay, it looks like it's probably going to still be probably a little too late, but it looks like at least we're doing a good effort in the second half compared to the first half. It just sucks that we got off to a bad start because that's probably going to end up being a difference. Yeah, we're down by 13 points with 3 minutes. I don't think we're going to drop 13 points in 3 minutes, but could be wrong. Yeah, it looks like we're going to still end up losing by maybe double digits, unfortunately. But I do think it was a good push at least at the end of this game. But unfortunately, we have probably one of our worst playoff games of this entire mode. We lose 141 to 123. We only outscored them in the third quarter. So tough game for our team. But looks like at least we had okay depth scoring. It's just it came down to one of their players going off, I guess. As Evans drops 29 points, didn't foul out, which is good, but Evans had a solid game. Semenko had 20 points. Like I said, we had good depth scoring because Goodwin and Bishop are on 10-plus points. Came with Carroll, Westbrook, Washburn. Rex almost had 10 points. He had 8, 7, and 6 in his return. I think that's a good game. Almost a triple-double when you think about it. Bridges and Warren probably not too much off the bench, but I think that was an okay game, all things considered. I guess it just came down to probably VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, Edgecombe was the difference in that game, 46 points, and then Atkins dropped 26 points. They also had some good depth scoring because they had a lot of guys on 10-plus points, but VJ Edgecombe definitely was the huge difference maker in this one, and unfortunately probably the reason why we lost that one. But field goal percentage, they did 56. We did 49. 3-point percentage, 52 to 38. Not very good in 3-point percentage for us in that one. And in free throws, they were 85 to our 70. We had right around the same amount of trips, so I guess we were a little bit more disciplined in that game, which is good. But definitely a tough loss to have, but I do think we could obviously still do well. It's good that we at least took one of our home games. We just got to find a way to win some games in Philadelphia, and we'll get back to square one again. We've only lost 3 games this entire playoff, so we can't complain too much about one loss. And now at least I think Rex should be fully healthy for this upcoming game, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that will make a difference. Looks like it says he's still injured, but he Has a green symbol. I think he should be still okay to play 27 minutes. And we did rebuild rotations again, so that should be fine the way it is. I guess we'll get Lloyd back in just more for the defensive play because Warren didn't have as good of a game in this one. So let's go with that, and let's see if the team could at least take a game in Philadelphia, because obviously if we lose both of them, we'll be down 3-1. If we find a way to win both of them, we could be up 3-1, and I think that's what we did last time when we played them, is we won both games in Philadelphia, and then we ended up winning in 5 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be the same thing as this year, or it might not be. Or it might not be. They might be the first team to beat us multiple times in this playoff run, potentially. So let's see what happens. See if Rex could have another good game here, and if our team could find its offensive game a little bit better early on in games, because obviously if we fall back too early, then trying to rally from behind is always going to be a tough task. So let's get in this first quarter in Philadelphia and see what our team can do. See if we can win on the road here. Let's find a way. We have been a great team all season. There's no reason why we're going to go on a losing streak all of a sudden. So I think our team should hopefully learn from that loss and find a way to play good out of the gate here. As early on, it's a pretty close game, which is at least good to see. But we are still trailing, which isn't ideal. But at least we're still in this game. It's not like it's a game where we're down by double-digit points to start off with, like last game so far. And at the end of the first, it's going to be a 3-point game. They're up 36-33. Not a bad start. Obviously better than last game, like I was saying. Box score, Goodwin's dropped 11 points. Rex has dropped 8 points through 7 minutes, so it looks like Rex is on a mission in this game, and he might be fully back to being his normal self again. Semenko on 8 points. He already has 5 assists, too. He might put up a lot of assists this entire game. Westbrook and Bishop only on 2 points. Same goes with Washburn. Carroll's got nothing. Same with Evans. He's only played 1 minute and already has 2 fouls and no points, so I'm a little disappointed in Evans in terms of his discipline, but I know that he should probably play a little bit better going forward, and then hopefully he can get his offense going, because obviously when Evans and Carroll aren't putting up points and Bishop's not putting up a lot of points either, that's really going to hurt our team in terms of finding ways to win games. So it is good we're within 3 points, but we need our big boys to step up that haven't so far. And then hopefully Rex continues to play like he's been playing, because obviously it'd be nice to see him play really good in the series and maybe somehow win a finals MVP despite missing the entire playoffs. Anyways, let's see what happens in the second quarter, see if we can make this a game where we could potentially grab that lead early. It's still a 1-possession game, so as they're going on a little bit of a run to start the second quarter, which is not ideal, as we're down by double-digit points already. So not a good start here. We have no points hardly in the second quarter. And yeah, this is not looking good here early into the second. We were okay. We were only down by 3 at one point, but our team really started off this quarter on a really bad note, because I think they outscored us 15-0, like on a 15-0 run. And that could end up making us lose this game quite convincingly because of that. They're already up on 70 points. Geez, our defensive play is not as strong here. As at the end of the first half, we are going to be down 75-54. They're up by 21 points on us. That's a dreadful, dreadful second quarter. Especially going into halftime, you want to be doing a lot better than that. So I don't know if it's just because Rex is back that we're a bit too offensive now, but obviously a little bit of a bad game for our team so far. Rex is already on 3 fouls, but he's got 16 points to lead the team. So the guy that's been injured for a lot of the playoffs, of course, is doing most of the legwork. Goodwin's on 14. We have Semenko on 8, Bishop's on 8 now. But a huge drop-off after those 4 guys, and that's definitely why we're in a bit of a hole here. Carroll's only got 2 points. Westbrook's only got 2 points. Washburn's only got 2. Evans has only played 4 minutes, has no points, and 4 fouls. What happened to Evans here? What happened to Evans? He's literally not had a single point at halftime. I don't think there's ever been a game in his career he's been like that, and he's already got 4 fouls in 4 minutes. Like, is this guy just going out there and, like, hacking people in the face or what? Like, I'm surprised he doesn't have, like, a technical and thrown into the game at this point. But Evans, I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. He has thrown up some shots, but he's missed every single shot he's had. He's only got the 1 rebound as well, but 4 fouls in 4 minutes is crazy. I don't know if maybe the refs are out to get him, but he is having a tough, tough time in his finals right now. It must be whoever he's matched up against, which could be Jared McCain, but I'm not too sure. And then team comparisons so far. Both teams are 50% and above, so at least we've been hitting our shots, but we haven't shot up enough, I guess. 3-point percentage, definitely the difference in the game right now. They're 41%. We're only 25%. And in free throws, we're 85. They are 90. They've had 31 trips to the free throw line. We've only had 13. 31-13. That's insane. They've almost had 20 more trips because of probably Evans and all that stuff. But definitely our discipline is definitely a thing that's been a consistent problem in this mode. But at least for the most part, we've been able to relish it. But in games like this against a tough team like Philadelphia, they might be the first team to hand us back-to-back losses in a playoffs in quite some time. Which means if we lose this game, we got to find a way to win next game, or else we got to come back from a 3-1 deficit, which is doable with our roster. But at the same time, going up against a team like Philadelphia, it is very, very tough. So anyways, let's see what happens in the third quarter. See if we could get this game closer again, or is this game already out of reach like last game was? But I need Evans to not be hacking and slashing people here, man. I don't know why he's going that mode, but he has not been that good in this round for the most part. He's been okay offensively at times, but the fouling is definitely a little bit out of hand. And then, of course, I need like more scoring on our team from guys that aren't Rex. Looks like we're down only by single digits now, which is good, but they are definitely still trying to match us point for point, so to speak. Maybe we're going to be able to still find a way to win this, because it is still close. But at the end of the third quarter, we are going to be down by double-digit points now. Again, it's going to be 96-83, so it is a 13-point game. We did outscore them by 8 in the quarter, 29-21, so definitely our strongest quarter of the game so far. But the fact that we're down by 13 points, not ideal, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. And Rex is definitely doing most of the legwork. 24 points for him, 4 fouls. He's been definitely the best offensive player. Goodwin's on 16. And then you can see the depth scoring is dropping off. Evans has 8 points now through 16 minutes, but he's up to 5 fouls. And obviously 4 of them were in the first half, but only playing 16 minutes means he's played just over a quarter, and we're heading into the fourth. So there's a chance he might foul out after the first few minutes. Same goes with Bishop, which is not ideal. So we definitely need those guys to make sure that they don't foul out, and they need to keep on picking up points if we want to find a way to make this single digits again and maybe find a way to win it. We could definitely still win this game. We could go on a 15-0 run like they did at that one point. So I don't say that we're out of this game yet, but we got to find a way to make sure that we get the first few buckets of this quarter and make sure we get some stoppages too. Anyways, fourth quarter underway. Can we make this game close again? Because it is okay in terms of distance. And okay, we're getting off to a really bad start again in the fourth. We're down by over 20 points now. Well, looks like we're going to lose multiple games in a row for the first time in quite a long time. And we're not even going to pick up 100 points in this game, which is probably the first time that's happened for our team. We're only on like single-digit points in this entire quarter so far. Wow. We're not even going to hit 100 points, are we? We might just barely hit 100 points. Okay, we just barely at the end hit over 100 points, but that's probably one of our lowest scoring games we've had in a while. We get outscored 124-103 as we lose by 21 points. Not a good game again. As Rex dropped the most points. He did foul out, though, too. So, unfortunate for Rex, he fouled out, but at least he was good offensively. Goodwin, 18 points. Westbrook, 15. Evans didn't end up fouling out, which is kind of surprising, but he only dropped 10 points in this game. So, needed more out of a couple starters. It's good to see that we had good depth scoring, but... Oh, no, Carroll got hurt. Oh, no, that's not good. Last year, didn't Carroll get hurt after the finals, too? I feel like he did. But Carroll getting hurt is definitely not good whatsoever. That will give more playing time to guys like Rex. Like, it's good that Rex is at least back, but that definitely could have been a deciding factor in this game. And also the fact that we've had a couple guys foul out at the end of the game, too, is not going to be good either. So that definitely sucks. Both teams are close in field goal percentage. 3-point percentage, they're relatively close. The difference in the game, I guess, just came down to the fact that they've had 33 more free throws than us the entire game. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, so the refs are on their side a little bit unless those fouls were warranted, but we got to be more disciplined. How good was Edgecombe in this game? 30 points again. Yeah, VJ Edgecombe is going to be a tough player to play against. But last year, I think we did a good job containing him. So far in this finals, not really the case. But how long is Carroll out for? How long is Carroll out for? Because obviously, like I said, that's a pretty substantial injury. It is in the red, so I'm assuming he's out for the rest of the season. Yep, he broke his right toe. So unfortunately, Everett Carroll's season is done, which kind of sucks because he is the oldest player on the roster. but he will not be there if we do win a championship. He will be on the bench instead, watching the boys. But Washburn's going to get a big opportunity because of that, apparently, because he's going to end up being our point guard, which I think he does have the skill level to become this guy. And I was thinking of letting go people in the offseason just so Washburn could get into a starting role. So I don't mind him in that spot. And of course, Rex can't play point guard too, but he's more of a shooting guard by default. So I could swap the two of these guys around if I want to, but for the time being, I think it's fine being like that. It just really, really sucks to obviously see an injury like that. I should probably put Semenko in the lineup over Westbrook, but the minutes are okay. I'll let the coach do what he's thinking. Warren's going to start to get a couple minutes in these games as well. But like I said, Carroll's season is done, which is a pretty big blow. His offensive game isn't crazy. Like 14.2 points per game is decent, but it's nothing crazy. His assists per game is definitely something we're going to be missing. Same with his stealing, because he's definitely a useful player in those type of areas. So, like I said, it's good that at least we have right back, or else we would be in even a bigger spot. But at least we are still in the series, and we just got to find a way to win this game, and then it could become a best of, I guess, 3. And hopefully we could still close them out and find a way to win this championship. But this is the first time I feel like we've been trailing in the series in quite some time. Actually, no, OKC was up 1-0 on us, weren't they, or no? I can't remember, but we've literally lost only 2 games up to this point, and now we've lost 4 games because of the 76ers. So we got to win this game and got to find a way to tie the series back up, because I don't really want to come back from a 3-1 deficit, but I definitely still think our team has it in them to come back from a game like that, so, or series like that. All right, this might be a must-win game. We got to see if our team can win. Rex is still apparently not fully healthy for this game, which is kind of crazy, but obviously he's still going to be in the lineup. And of course, like I said, Carroll's not in the lineup, so we need Washburn to obviously relish the opportunity he has here, because he's getting starting minutes as an 80 overall. He's not as good, of course, as Carroll, but he definitely still has the offensive tool bag that he can pick up points. We've seen it off the bench before, so I do hope that the kid could do decent for us and help us get a win here. Let's see what happens anyways. First quarter underway here in Philadelphia. Let's see if the Washburn could get cleaning here early. I don't know if that made any sense, but let's see if he could clean up the floors and help our team get a win here. Just got to find a way to get off to a good offensive start, which so far we are. But obviously we got to make sure we're playing good defensively too, because some of these games haven't been the best defensively. Like, usually we have some decent defense, but Philadelphia has found a way to score points against us occasionally. We are going to have a 5-point lead after the first quarter, so that's a decent start for our team. At least we're not trailing. So far, Rex has dropped 11 points through 7 minutes, so off to a fantastic start again as Rex. Like I said, Rex might have a chance to be a Finals MVP if we do end up finding a way to win, because he has been the best player these last few games, even though he's been injured. I guess technically the last 2 games, but I don't know who else would win it, because Evans really hasn't been that guy so far in the early going. But obviously, you know, he's going to have a big game in like a Game 7 scenario if we get to a Game 7. But so far, Rex has done a lot of the work for our team. Goodwin's on 4. Washburn's on only 3, but that's okay. Semenko's on 3. Evans on 3, or on 3, on 2. Westbrook on 2, and then Bishop has nothing. So we're getting scoring from everybody so far, except for a couple bench options. So looking decent in the early going. It's nice to be up by 5, but obviously we'd like to be up by more than that. Let's hope that Washburn can get going a little bit, like I said, because of his playing time. But let's hope that also Rex continues to do what he's been doing. Did we take any fouls in that first? Yeah, we did. Okay, so they've had 3 trips to the free throw line. We've had 6. Have there been any personal fouls? Oh, yeah, it's been from a couple bench options. Okay, at least it's not the starters taking the fouls, so that's not terrible. Anyways, second quarter underway. Let's build up a bigger lead, and let's hope that our starting guys continue to pick up points, because obviously if we're reliant on other guys, it's not going to be great. But this game is a close game again. What a surprise. I feel like this is going to be one of the toughest series we've had to date, because last year we had an easier time against Philadelphia. This year, they've been definitely posing us a little bit of a different problem. I think it could be because Jared's in the lineup, but I'm not too sure. And we are going to fall apart a little bit near the end of the first half, as they end up building up a 6-point lead on us because they outscore us 32-21. So that is not what we want to see from our team going into halftime once again. So it seems like we've been having some pretty rough second quarters. It kind of sucks, but at least we are still in this game. But we got to find a way to put into a consistent effort a little bit more. So far, Rex is once again doing the most work. 16 points through 16 minutes. We have Westbrook on 10. Goodwin on 6. 5 for Bishop. 4 for Semenko. 3 for Washburn. Evans is still only on 2 points through 14 minutes. He does have 6 rebounds, but these last 2 games for Evans have been really uncharacteristic of him. I do think he'll get his offense going in the second half, but I don't understand what that is. We don't have a lot of guys on fouls too, which is nice. So I don't know if we're going to have really anybody foul out in this game, but it just seems like a couple starters aren't really doing as much as they normally do. Like Goodwin's been kind of quiet, Bishop's quiet, Semenko's quiet, Washburn obviously is a little bit younger and he's just getting into the starting rotation, so not a huge issue for him. But Evans only been on 2 points is not great. I probably will think about next game, since Washburn hasn't been doing as good. I probably will move Rex back to point guard and then move somebody else to shooting guard. And then I get Semenko in and maybe I could put Semenko in as a shooting guard or something like that. That might not be a bad option, as he is a good 3-point shooter. But right now our field goal percentage is 38%, so that's definitely an issue. We've had some good 3-point shooting at least. And then free throws, so far they've had only 1 more free throw than us in this game. So it should be a little bit more evened out in this game compared to last game in terms of the free throws, but we are still down by 6. So we need to find a way to make sure that they don't go on a run to start this third quarter, or else this is going to be tough for us. So let's get back into this game. We're only down by 6. Let's get off to a good start. Maybe go on a run. Third quarter underway. And hopefully Evans comes alive. Like I said, if Evans comes alive, he can literally help this team win games. So we need playoff Evans, because he's been a really good player for us in the past in the playoffs. If he could have a strong quarter here for us, he could definitely help push this team to victories and help us win series and games, of course, more importantly. All right, looks like we have a double-digit lead, so I think Evans is coming alive here in this quarter, or somebody is for sure. Maybe it's still Rex, I'm not too sure, but at the end of the third quarter, we are going to have a double-digit lead by 20-plus points, maybe even? Damn, all right. An 18-point lead for the fourth quarter. I like that a lot. That's a big third quarter from our team. We outscored them 41-18. So that's definitely what we like to see from our team. That shows the playoff success we've had in the past. Rex still has no fouls up to this point, but he's leading the team with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Rex is looking awesome. I love him so much, but I wish he wasn't injury prone, because I think he could be a great player to hold on to long term, but he might be gone at the end of not this season, but the next season. Goodwin's dropped 18 points. Washburn's starting to come alive offensively, which is good. Westbrook's on 13 points. Bishop's on 12. Evans is still only on 7, but he does have 6 rebounds and 5 assists. So I do like all that stats, but I don't like that he's only got 7 points, because that's a little low for his logic. Semenko's only on 4 points, so that's also pretty low. But it looks like a lot of guys are blocking in this game too, because look at the amount of blocks. We have a block from Rex, we have a block from Semenko, Evans, Westbrook, Bishop, and that's it. So we literally have 5 blocks in this game, which is pretty good. So it looks like at least we're committing to team defense a bit better, and we're up by 18 points. As long as we play good in this fourth quarter, we should be able to find a way to tie the series up before we head back to Anchorage. So fourth quarter underway. Let's make sure we continue to play good defensively in this fourth quarter. Continue to get those blocks. Continue to get points from our starters. And we should be good at that point if we do that. We do still have a 20-point lead, or almost around. They are now trying to make it a little bit closer, but we're at least managing to get still point for point, so to speak, which is going to make it a lot easier to win a game when you could actually just respond right away and not basically miss a bunch of shots. So looks like we are going to probably win this game unless we fall apart here near the end. We are only up by 10 points at this point in time. 9 points. Looks like we still should have this game though in the bag, as we are going to win in Philadelphia 121-107. So 14-point win, as we have tied the series headed home. So that's a big win on the road, as it's tied at 2. They outscored us 37-33, but we still win. And Goodwin ended up finishing as the best player in the game with 25 points, so he must have had a big fourth quarter. Rex finishes second with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Let's go, Rex. And then Washburn on 19 points. Washburn actually looks pretty good. And that's what I mean about maybe we don't need some of those older guys, because Washburn looks like he can live up to expectation if he actually is a starter. So I think we might actually keep him in as the point guard again. And that way Rex doesn't have a lot of pressure on him as that point guard. Westbrook dropped 18 points. We had Bishop on 14, Semenko on 13. Evans dropped 11, 8, and 7, so nearly a triple-double, but it kind of goes under the radar a little bit. Bridges on 2 points, and then nothing for Lloyd or Warren through the 20 minutes combined that they played. Team comparison, 48% to their 40% for us. 3-point percentage, 54 to 32, so good on the 3-point percentage for us in this one. And free throws, we had 37 trips to the free throw line. They only had 33, but they were better than us technically at it. So we did have more trips, which is good, but we missed a lot. But we still end up winning by a good chunk. If we look at offensive rebounding, they out-rebound us both offensively and defensively, so kind of surprised we won on that. We had more steals. We had less blocks than they did. They had 6 blocks. Turnovers, they had 12 turnovers in the game, so that's pretty big for them. And then, of course, the biggest lead for us was 23. The biggest lead for them was 6 points. And that was at halftime, I think it was. So a nice win on the road. At least the series is tied back up again. Rex should be fully healthy, I think, for this next game. He is still in the green, but I think he should be over that territory by now in terms of being injured, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we'll definitely keep Washburn as that point guard. I think, like I said, I think he literally is a pretty solid player. He's 23 years old, was a late first-round pick. He's not a high overall. But you look at his shooting, for instance, he's got an A+ 3-point shot. Great for a point guard, of course. He's got good playmaking. He's got good mid-range, good inside scoring, good perimeter defense. His only thing that's bad is post defense and rebound and all that stuff, which isn't important as a point guard, I don't think. So I think if we are to let go of somebody down the road, it would have to be somebody that's playing either point guard or shooting guard. We could think about, obviously, I think I gave Carroll an extension recently, if I'm not mistaken, but Carroll could be one of these guys that eventually leaves too, and we could easily replace them with some younger options. So looking good anyways at this point. It's a 2-2 series as we head into the next game, which is obviously back on home court. Can we find a way to take back that series lead? Obviously, it's been a kind of a back and forth series so far. Looks like Rex is fully healthy now because it doesn't say he's injured. Yep, he's fully healthy. Let's go, Rex. Let's go. And he's back up to a 91. So that is good news. That is good news. All right. Well, let's see what ends up happening here on home court. See if we could take that series lead. And if we have a chance to take the series maybe in Philadelphia. Or is the series still going to go 7 games? It could. It could, very well could. Anyways, first quarter underway. Let's get off to a good start here, boys. And so far, my favorite player, I think, in this finals for us has been, it's tough to say, really. There hasn't been a standout player, really. Obviously, in the past, Evans has usually been the guy that puts up a lot of points, and he's easily the guy that's a favorite for our team. But right now, I don't know who that guy is. Rex has been consistent since he's jumped in, except for the first game, of course. But I don't really know who would be the favorite right now if we are to win the championship again this season. So, anyways, we're going to be up by 8 to start this game, so that's a really good start. Obviously, building up on last game, it seems like Evans dropped 12 points in 7 minutes. See, like I said, Evans, this is the type of game he's usually used to. So, if he's going to do that, he'll still win Finals MVP probably. But if he's not going to have a good game where we win the Finals, is it going to be somebody else on this team that we're not expecting? Could be the case. Warren's dropped 3 points. We have Goodwin and Bridges also on 3 points. Same with Washburn. So, we are getting some good depth scoring, but guys like Semenko have no points so far. Rex has no points through 7 minutes, which is kind of surprising, but I do expect him and Bishop to get going as this game goes on. But looks like for the most part, Evans is starting to show that he should be this type of guy again for another MVP. Obviously, a little bit of a slow start to him in this series, but I think he'll start to pick it up as it gets into bigger clutch moments. So anyways, good start. Let's get to the second quarter and see what we could do here. Actually, they did score another point in that quarter, so it wasn't as big of a lead as I said originally, but that's okay. Yeah, it looks like we're off to a good start. Looks like we're continuing to build momentum, but obviously, it's still kind of a 10-point game around, and we're not even at halftime yet. Now it's only single digits. As long as we keep on holding on to a big lead, we should be fine, but now it's only a 1-point game. Of course it is. I feel like this is going to be one of those tight games again. We've had some tight games in the past with them, and then eventually one team runs away with it. But maybe we're taking a little bit of fouls near the end of this quarter. I'm not too sure. But we are probably going to have the lead going still into halftime. It looks like. Potentially, yes, we are. 56-52. Not too bad whatsoever, but obviously could be better. as we were up by 6, I think it was at one point, or actually we were up by 7, and now we're up by only 4. So they are starting to make it close again. Evans has already dropped 21 points in 14 minutes. He didn't like that we were saying that he was kind of a ghost in the series because, man, he has stepped up big time in this game so far. 21 points at halftime. He might be on pace for a 40-point game if he stays in the entire game, which he probably should. We have Rex on 12 points. So Rex had no points in the first quarter, but dropped 12 in the second. So it's good to see both Wright and Evans back up there again, because when those two guys are working well together, we are almost an unstoppable force, basically. We have Goodwin on 5 points, Semenko on 4. Not at the best depth scoring. So, like, it looks like we're getting a lot of people picking up points, but there is definitely a lot of room for improvement. Like, we are only reliant heavily right now on Rex and Evans. Everybody else being on 5 and below, not necessarily ideal. So, I'd like to see those guys step up a bit more in the next half. But obviously our main starters in Evans Wright, hopefully they continue to play what they've been playing like so far, because obviously if they slow down, that's when they could take the lead. And in team comparison, looks like both of us are shooting pretty similar in most areas. We've had a lot more trips to the free throw line, but we're only up by 4, so that's kind of surprising, considering we both have very similar three-point percentages and also field goal percentages. All right, well, we are still up in this game. Let's have hopefully a good third quarter here and hopefully find a way to build up a bigger lead than only 4 points, or else this game is going to get a little nerve-wracking. So, third quarter underway. As this is a 2-point game, they take their first lead tonight, but now we're in that back and forth state, which I was kind of expecting eventually. But now we're going on a little bit of a run here. Looks like we got a little bit mad that they were that close to us again, so we decided to start building up our points again. But now it looks like they're trying to get close again to us, which is a little bit nerve-wracking again. Oh, man. Philadelphia is definitely our biggest competitor for sure. Biggest competitor. And at the end of the third quarter, as we wind this one down, is going to be 86-75. So we built up an 11-point lead, which is great. Was close at one point. It is still close, but it's not as close as it was before. And so far, Evans has dropped 23 points. He's up to 4 fouls all of a sudden. So a couple of our guys fouled too many times probably in that third quarter. But so far, Evans leading the way. Wright's on 14 points. We have Semenko on 12 and Washburn on 10. So it looks like those guys stepped up a bit in that third quarter for sure. Goodwin's on 7. Westbrook's on 7. Bishop's still only on 4, but he does have 8 rebounds. Warren's on 4. Bridges on 3. Lloyd on 2. All right. Not too bad. Good to see that we're starting to get that scoring a little bit better throughout our lineup. And looks like the guys that aren't scoring a lot, like Bishop, for instance, at least doing some stuff on the glass, help us out with the defensive play. So that's good. But we have an 11-point lead. Let's have a good fourth quarter here. And if we do have a good fourth quarter here, we could be 1 win away from pulling off a 4-peat. Let's see what happens. Fourth quarter underway. And looks like we're off to a good start here. We're going to be up by almost over 20 points here, I think. If we could get our offense going a little bit here again, because it's a little bit stagnant right now. Still only like a 14-point game, but looks like our offense is definitely managing to play a lot better in this second half. And it looks like we should be easily able to take a 3-2 series lead here, as we are definitely playing a lot better basketball than we were kind of a couple games ago. As we're going to end up only winning by a total of, I guess, 11 points. So not necessarily a huge win, but 119-108. And just like that, we are 1 win away from winning another championship. In terms of box score, Evans dropped 27 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists to lead the team. Big game for Evans. Rex dropped 22 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. 3 steals and 3 blocks. 5 turnovers isn't good, but 3 blocks and 3 steals. That's why Rex is huge for us. He could literally do a bunch of different things, and I like him a lot for that. Westbrook on 18 points, 7 rebounds. We had Semenko on 17 points, 3 rebounds. Goodwin 12 points, 8 rebounds. Washburn on 10 points, not bad, 5 assists. I like that. Bishop on 4 points, 12 rebounds. Looking pretty good for depth scoring. And of course, like I said, having Evans step up is huge. Semenko did foul out again, but he was the only guy that fouled out on the team. So it looks like we're getting a little bit more disciplined as this series is going on. Field goal percentage, we are 49 to their 40. 3-point percentage, we're 42 to 38, so pretty close on that. And in free throws, we were 90 to their 79. They had a little bit more attempts on the free throw line than us, but we had very similar numbers in that, so that's not too bad. And offensive rebounds, they out-rebounded us offensively, but we out-rebounded them defensively. They had 22 offensive rebounds, so that's probably how they've been getting points, is second chance stuff. Steals, they had more than us. We had more blocks than they did. They had less turnovers than us, but we still won. Similar team fouls. Biggest lead for us was 24. Biggest lead for them was only 3 points. All right. So just like that, we are one win away from winning another championship. Let's once go to coaching game plan and go best roster, basically. Rex is now back up to his normal 35 minutes suggested, which is nice. And unfortunately, though, like I said, Carroll is going to be not in the lineup at any time soon, which means if we win this championship, unfortunately, we won't get to see him in the celebration again like he's been every year. But at least we are one win away from once again repeating. Is there anything else we got to do before we get into this game? I don't think so. I do not think so. All right, can we win a championship for the 4th consecutive year? And can we win a second one against Philadelphia? This would be the first one in Philadelphia because I'm pretty sure last year was on home court. So let's get off to a good start here, or will this go to a Game 7 scenario? If it goes to a Game 7, that would be definitely one of the games for the ages to watch, just because both teams, obviously, absolutely dynamite teams. Like I said, the 76ers, I got to give them props. They've been a really good team in this universe, and I'm surprised they've managed to keep up with us the most part, because we've had such a good season compared to them, but they've definitely the type of team that could win multiple against us. So, anyways, let's see what happens. First quarter underway here in Game 6. Let's just get off to a really good offensive start, so that way I could kind of breathe a little bit more if we go up by like 20 points or something like that. But something tells me that this game will be a little bit tighter, just based on the fact that it keeps on going back and forth between both teams in terms of having the lead. Could come down to a final shot, could come down to an overtime scenario, could come down to just one good fourth quarter from one team. Who knows? As it looks like they're building up a bit of a lead here, which is not ideal in the early going, because I don't know if I really want to go to a Game 7, to be honest, but it could end up happening. It could end up happening. At the end of the first quarter, the score is going to be 40-32 for them, so I don't like that we gave up 40 points in the quarter, but at least we scored 32, so it is still only an 8-point game, but definitely got to be a little bit better defensively going forward. So far, Evans dropped 9 points, so Evans looks like he's going to build on last game. Goodwin's on 5 points, Bridges on 5, Warren and Semenko on 3. Same goes with Westbrook, Washburn on 2, Bishop on 2, Lloyd on nothing, and Rex on nothing. So I need Rex to pick up some more points. He does have 4 assists, which is good, but obviously he needs to help out with the point scoring as well. Bishop obviously can maybe do a little bit more in terms of points, but at least he's rebounding and all that stuff too. Washburn probably could do a little bit more. Same with Westbrook and Semenko. The only one that's actually been doing stuff, I guess, is technically Evans for the most part. So let's get our other guys scoring, and that's how we can obviously find a way to take the lead. Anyways, let's see what happens. Second quarter underway. Can we find a way to get a lead maybe before halftime, or at least make this game like close as hell? But right now, it's definitely a tough game here in the early going for us defensively, as they seem to still be matching us pretty much point for point. But we are on a little bit of a run here and kind of containing their offense, but they're still managing to hold on to pretty much a 10-point gap for the most part. It is still close, though, so don't count us out yet. Don't count us out. It's only a 1-point game all of a sudden. Oh boy, can we find a way to get this leader tied before halftime? We probably won't, it looks like, but we are going to have this game decently close. Is at halftime, it's going to be a 62-58 game for them, so they're only up by 4 points. We outscored them 24-20, so definitely a much better defensive second quarter than the first, and it is a very, very tight game. Evans has dropped 15 points. Bridges has 10 points in 10 minutes. That's not something I'd normally expect from him, because obviously Bridges is more of a defensive player, but that's a huge 10 minutes for him to make this game close. Evans is already on 4 fouls, which is not ideal in terms of if we want to win this game. We don't want him to foul out, of course, especially considering 4 fouls at halftime isn't ideal. Semenko has no fouls so far, which is kind of surprising. 8 points, though. He's got the third most on the team. Goodwin's got 6. Rex is on 5, 4, and 5, so at least he's doing some other stuff other than just points. Westbrook on 5, Washburn on 4. Definitely need still some more out of the starters, because Bishop being only on 2 points, Washburn on 4, Westbrook on 5, Rex being on 5, Goodwin being on 6, Semenko being on 8. Not necessarily crazy. Like, it's kind of crazy that Bridges is the second highest point getter right now on the roster. So I like that Evans is obviously doing some good work again, but I need some other guys to maybe get some more points on the board just to make this game even closer. And right now we are out shooting them in terms of field goal percentage, 47-44. We are out 3-point percent shooting them as well, 33-27. But they've had 15 more trips to the free throw line, but this game is only a 4-point game. 27 of their points have came from the free throw. That's insane. All right, so the difference is just that we've not been disciplined, or they've had a lot more trips to the free throw line. So if we could get some calls going to our side, we could definitely make this game close, or maybe even grab that lead. So let's see what happens in the third quarter. This is a big third quarter. Obviously, if we have a big third quarter here and grab the lead, we could be the champions by the end of the fourth quarter. If we have a bad third quarter, this series might be going to a game 7. If we have an even quarter, who knows what happens in the fourth. So let's see what happens. Third quarter underway. It looks like we actually got one more point in that quarter, so it is a lower point total, or lower point differential, but they are on a run to start this quarter, which is not good. They're on a 13-0 run before we get our first points in that quarter, so that might dictate the rest of this game and make it go to a game 7, because we're down by over 20 points now. We're getting absolutely obliterated in the third quarter, and that's the third time, I think, in the series that we've had a really bad third quarter, which is not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. I don't really want to go to game 7, but I think it is very likely that we are going to be going to one, as we do get the first 2 points of the fourth. But we are down by a lot of points right now. A lot of points. 18 points to be exact. Ugh, this is not great. That's not great. And so far in terms of points, Evans has dropped 17 points, but he's got 5 fouls. He's probably had to sit on the bench a bit, so that's probably why they have such a big lead. But yeah, it's not good that Bridge is still top 10 in points on the team. Rex is very close to getting a triple-double. He's got 9 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals and a block. Like, he's still doing good in terms of stuff, but he's not hitting a lot of his shots, which is not ideal. Washburn's only got 6. That's also been a bit of a problem. Bishop's on 4. He's already fouled out after 22 minutes. Okay, so that's definitely a reason why we're trailing in this game, too, is our main rebounder and main defensive player is going to be probably watching this rest of this game, I guess, from the bench. But yeah, this is a tough game, and this looks like it could be our first ever game 7 in the finals. Unless we have a really good fourth quarter here, which it could happen, but I don't expect our team to really go on a 13-0 run and all of a sudden make this like a 2-point game again or something. But anyways, let's see what happens. Fourth quarter underway. Can we go on a run and show that we are the better team by a large margin? And so far, we're playing good in this quarter, but they're still kind of putting up points, which is not what we want. Because we kind of wanted them to basically go stagnant, and then we could make this like a couple-point game only. It's a 10-point game with 4 minutes left. It is still close, but I feel like it's too little too late at this point. Yeah, it's too little too late at this point. We had to hold them to under 20 points probably in this quarter if we wanted to find a way to win this one. We're down by 10 points. Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. Down by 9 points. Down by 10 points again. Yeah, it's too little too late. We're going to go to a game 7, I think, here. Yeah, we're going to a game 7. Back on home court as we lose by 9 points, so we at least keep it close by the end of it. We scored 47 points in that fourth quarter, which might be one of our highest scoring quarters of the season. But unfortunately, we'll be going to a game 7 where obviously our dynasty is on the line. I wouldn't say it's on the line because if we lose this finals, we'd still have 3 championships in a 4-year span. But it would be disappointing to lose in the finals, kind of. But it could still happen, and it's back on home court. I wish I could watch this entire game, but obviously I can't because it would take too long. But tough game for our team. We did have 3 guys on 20-plus points. Semenko dropped 21. Evans dropped 21. Rex dropped 29 and 12. So he came a rebound shy of a triple-double, but a fantastic game still for him. Unfortunately, Evans did foul out after 22 minutes, so that's probably why we end up losing. If Evans didn't foul out, he probably could have helped us win that game. Westbrook dropped 14, Washburn on 12, Goodwin on 11, Bridges on 10. Like I said, the depth scoring in some of these losses have been good, but it's just been the issue of having guys foul out. And then obviously, when you have a big player like Evans foul out, half of your offense might be gone. They shot 57 to our 50. Their 3-point percentage is 33 to our 29. And then in terms of free throws, we are better at them, 85 to 81. But they had still a lot more attempts. They had 16 more attempts at the free throw than us in this game. So we're going to be going to a game 7 where obviously if they win, they could find a way to still make them still a dynasty, I guess. But obviously our streak of winning in a row is on the line here too. So we're going to rebuild rotations, and I think we're going to trust in the coach here. I could put Semenko in as the power forward over Westbrook. I think that's what I'm going to do. Even though their minutes, technically, Semenko has a little bit more. Goodwin I could put higher than Westbrook too, hypothetically. I like Westbrook's offense a bit, but let's give both those guys 26 minutes in this one. I feel like this Carroll injury is definitely the main reason why also we've lost a couple games, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that is good. Damn, Evans playing 39 minutes is a lot. Rex playing 34 minutes. Comes down to a Game 7 scenario. That's crazy, man. I wasn't expecting to go to a Game 7 fully, but I knew that they were the type of team that could win games against us. And we only had 2 losses going into this round, but now that we've been in the finals, we've lost more than we did before this. And technically, when you think about it, we only lost 6 games all regular season. In this playoff run alone, we've lost 5 games so far. If we lose this next one, we've lost as much in the playoffs as we did in the regular season. If we win this one, we only lost a total of 11 games all year, which is pretty insane to say. So, can we find a way to win this championship? This is scary because we've never been in a Game 7 in a finals before, but it comes down to this. We got to get off to a good start here and not look back. We cannot be getting into foul trouble in this game, or else that's how they could beat us. And we got to find ways to contain guys like Edgecombe and McCain going forward. So, big game. A little bit nervous just because of the stakes on this game, but let's see if we can find a way to get off to a good start here. Real-time simulation, first quarter underway. Come on, boys. Let's get off to a good start here. If we could get our offense flowing off really good, that will be really good here in the early going. Because obviously we know the first quarter is a big one to dictate maybe the rest of the game, but at the same time you need to have consistent efforts throughout all the quarters to be good. You can't just be good in one quarter only. I mean, you can, but it's not necessarily the best recipe for winning games. As early on, looks like a pretty close game here. At the end of the first quarter, as we wind this one down, the score is going to be 35-25. So we built up a 10-point lead in the early going. That's good. It was close at some points earlier on, but we have built up a 10-point gap. That's good. So far, Rex has dropped 8 points. Westbrook's dropped 8 points. We have Evans on 7. So looks like our main starters are doing good. Bridges has 5 points in 5 minutes, so Bridges all of us in the last 2 games has been a very big factor for us. Semenko on 3 points, Washburn on 2, Lloyd's on 2, nothing from Bishop. And then Goodwin has nothing either so far, as Warren does as well. Are we in foul trouble? Semenko is the only guy with multiple fouls. Some guys are on 1 foul, but that's not a terrible quarter, I guess. But we still don't want guys to have 4 fouls, hopefully, before halftime. So let's make sure we stay a little bit more disciplined in the second quarter. And hopefully we can continue to build up a huge lead here. Second quarter underway. But yeah, so far foul trouble has been a little bit evident, but not as evident as in past games. Past games, you'd already have a guy on like 3 fouls after the first or something like that. Oh man, this game is close. This game is close, and I am a little nervous, man. A little nervous. Even though we've won multiple championships in a row, these games are always just... Game 7s just always feel a lot different. Like, even if you've won championships before this, you always just kind of feel like you're like, damn, man, I could lose this game and I lose my championships, all that type of thing. But we are going to have a pretty good lead going into halftime. 62-44, which is nearly a 20-point lead. We outscored them 27-19 as we contained their offense a lot in that quarter. That's a huge lead at this point. But obviously, there's still 2 quarters to go, so we got to be careful. But Westbrook's dropped 17 points to lead the team. So Dana Westbrook turning back the clock a bit. Obviously, he was one of our first picks in the series, and he's been huge in this game. Evans has dropped 11 points. Rex is on 8. We have Washburn and Semenko on 7. Bridges on 5. He does have 3 rebounds and 2 assists as well, which is quite impressive. Lloyd on 4 points. Bishop on 3 points. 7 rebounds. Let's go. Goodwin still has no points in this game, which is surprising, and same with Warren, but we are getting depth scoring. And when we have guys off the bench picking up points or rebounds and all that stuff, it goes a long way. Team comparison, we're shooting 52%. They're only shooting 33% right now. Their 3-point shooting is only 20%. Ours is 50%. And in free throws, they've had 1 more attempt at the free throw line than us, and they've hit it. So they're 14 for 14. We're 12 for 13. So pretty even in the free throws. but 3-point percentage, we're doing a lot better at, and same with field goal percentage. As long as we play good in this third quarter, we should be good. But we got to be careful because they have had good third quarters in the past where they've gone on like 13-0 runs. So let's be careful here, boys, and let's not let them get back into this one. Third quarter underway. But the third quarter has been a bit of a mixed bag quarter for our team. So I just want us to have a good third quarter here in this one. So that way we could have a little bit more of breathing room for the fourth quarter. Because if we have a bad third quarter, obviously that makes it a little bit nerve-wracking going forward. But it looks like we're still maintaining around a 20-point gap, which is huge at this point. Absolutely huge. As we are definitely doing a lot better of a job defensively too. We're almost over 30 points ahead of them. We are showing still that we are the dominant team here in this game 7, as we are going to build up a 27-point lead. We outscored them 36-27. Hypothetically, we should have this game in the bag. We should have it in the bag, I think, at this point. Because usually I always figure with basketball, it's always the first team to 100 points around that will end up winning the game, unless it's obviously like only a 2 or 3 point game. But I think we should have this in the bag. We just got to be careful, of course, because we know they have offense. But Westbrook has got 25 points and no fouls. I don't know who's going to end up winning the playoff MVP. Does it come down to the last game, or is it just based on the entire series? Because if it's based on the entire series, I have no idea. If it's based on the game, Westbrook might end up winning it. Evan still could win it too because he's got 19 points in this game, 8 assists. Rex has got 16 points. Everybody else is 9 and below. We do have a lot of guys in kind of foul trouble, 3 or 4 fouls, but we're up by so much that it shouldn't impact the rest of this game, I don't think. I don't think, at least. But let's get in this fourth quarter and see if this team can lock down this championship and win its 4th in a row. Philly's definitely pushed harder this year than last year, but they might come up just short. Fourth quarter underway. Let's keep playing good offensively and just match them point for point, and we should have this in the bag easily. Yep, we're kind of going back to our regular season stats. And yeah, we're definitely going to have this game in the bag, I think. Unless for some reason something bad happens, but I think we should. As we're going down in these last 5 minutes, we are up by a lot. We're going to probably already jump in already. We might as well. I know this episode's probably going to be long because of this, but we might as well jump in. We're up by a ton of points at this point in time. I might as well just watch and see if there's any cool highlights from our boys and all that. But 4th straight championship is insane. Was not expecting to be in a situation with this team to win that many championships in a row, but we've obviously spent a lot over our budget just to keep this team together, and they've done an absolute great job at winning games. All right, here we go anyways. Looks like we're at the free throw line. It's Goodwin. He should be able to easily hit this, and he does. That's the first, hopefully, of 2. As a guy checks in, looks like it's Jared McCain checking in. I could easily tell that's him just because of his game face and all that. Seen his YouTube videos a couple times because now he's in OKC, of course. Looks like we have a couple of our bench options actually checking in too, because Peterson is checked in, which is kind of interesting. So I don't mind that we're getting a bunch of scrubs jumping into our lineup, as our starters could kind of just rest a little bit, even though technically it's a championship game. We should probably have our starters in for the most part, but I'm going to put my headphones on just because I kind of want to listen to the actual commentary in these games, because I've never listened to the commentary in these games because I have the audio for the game turned off for these videos, just because obviously there's copyrighted music and stuff in game. But 4 minutes. Here we go. Westbrook trying to break down the defense. At least they're keeping Westbrook out there because maybe he's going to be the finals MVP. Westbrook puts it up. Whoa, that's nice. That's nice. Even with a little bit of contact too. That's nice. 27 points in 22 minutes for him. Gotta love it when one of the old guys basically is the difference in the game. But obviously Philadelphia down by a shit ton of points. There's no way they could even come back in a game like this, but it's just fun to actually watch a game. Oh, big block. Who was that? Was that Peterson or that one bench guy? I don't even know, but that was a big block. Absolutely beautiful block there. As he dished it around, Westbrook throws it down to Goodwin. Goodwin will throw it up, and he'll hit that. That was kind of filthy, kind of smooth. Yeah, this has been quite an easy game, it looks like, for our team. This game definitely doesn't dictate the rest of the series, because the rest of the series, they've definitely had some games against us where we did not play the best. But this game has definitely looked a lot better. As Nador puts down that rebound. Anderson will throw it up. Peterson, I don't know why Anderson had to throw it like that, but at least Peterson will put it in. Nice to see Peterson getting some points because he's our lowest overall player, but I guess our coach just wants to put out anybody out there right now, so I don't mind that. It's kind of nice to have your bench options getting some minutes in a game like this where you're going to win a championship. They throw it around. McCain looking for that screen. Will put up a 2, and he will not hit that, surprisingly. But yeah, we even get to see like Anderson out there and all these guys, so it's kind of nice to see a little bit of different players out there. Even though it would be nice to watch, obviously, our highlight reel players like Evans and Wright and all that. Anderson will shoot for 3. Kind of interesting form on his 3-point shot, but he misses that. Jared McCain throws it into Macy. Stuart Macy, yeah, easy going to get that in, yeah. He just kind of broke down our defense a little bit, but that's okay. At least there's no way they come back in these last 2 minutes. What is Anderson going to do here now? There's the Bridges. Bridges to Westbrook. Westbrook trying to break down the defense. Westbrook making some moves. Throws it up and gets it to go. Also, we did take Westbrook off the starting rotation in this game, and he's randomly become really good as a bench player, so kind of funny on that. All right. But yeah, Westbrook could be playoff MVP. He very well could be. Unless it's based on the entire series. If it's, like I said, based on the entire series, I don't even know who to guess as the player. Like, do you guys have any idea who would be the MVP if it was based on the entire series? Because I have no prediction on that. All right, here you go. They throw it around. Anderson looking around, throws it over to Westbrook. Westbrook throws it into Goodwin. Goodwin will throw another nice little play like that, and that fadeaway doesn't work, or whatever the heck that's considered. And McCain will try and break down our defense again. Nador in the paint a couple times. He's still in the paint, and he gets the shot up and gets it over Goodwin. Not really a surprise when Bishop's not out there that their center's able to do a play like that. But yeah, it's good to see some of the youth on this team. Just because, like I said, eventually at some point, maybe we'll let go of some of the older guys and let some of the young guys kind of take over. If we do want to run the series longer. Like, do you guys want to see us go for a 5th straight championship or what? Like, it's been so, like, redundant at this point, but it's also been a lot of fun. Edgecombe throws it to Macy. Macy doing a little bit of a jab step there. Throws it over to McCain. McCain shoots for 3. He will miss that one. We get the rebound from Peterson again. And we can wind down the clock here on this one. We're going to win 4 straight championships. Even with the injury trouble we've had the last few years. Like last year, Rex missed, I think it was the finals. This year, Carroll's missing the finals. Rex came back from injury. And your Anchorage Ice Tigers have won 4 championships in a row. Adding another banner to our arena. What a win. What a win in Game 7. Absolute tough series there for the 76ers, though. Like I said, they gave us a really good push this year. And it might be the type of push we needed. But let's get going. Let's get going. Let's try and win a 5th if we want to. As we win by a large margin in that one. Let's go, boys. That's crazy. All these players on this team have been the same pretty much the last few years, too. Like, there's been a couple new guys, but absolutely awesome. As there's the 2 coaches again. Dennis has won another coach as a head coach. Another championship as a head coach is what I'm trying to say. But let's go. There's the guys on the bench. I think it's Semenko on 40, right? Or is that somebody else? He looks like Semenko, but it might not be. Might be somebody else. And that's JT Warren. I think that's wearing number 8. They're on there just like celebrating. It's kind of cool, all the tattoos that some of these guys have. And there you go. Evans will get our championship trophy. Obviously, he's technically the team captain. So that's why he always gets it. But who's going to get the playoff MVP? He passes the championship trophy over to Goodwin. Interesting player to pass it to. But Goodwin's been a good factor on our team a couple years in a row. Or quite a few years in a row, I guess. And who is going to get it? It's going to be Evans again. Wow. Okay, so maybe it is based on the entire series. Because obviously, if it was based on the game, I think Westbrook would have won it. But do you guys agree with Evans being the playoff MVP this year? Or finals MVP, I should say. Because I don't know if I fully agree on it. He had some weird games, but maybe he had a good last game here. I don't know. But an absolutely big win to get ourselves another championship. Let's go. Let's freaking go. All right, let me unplug my headphones here for a second, just because obviously don't need those on anymore. Just wanted to listen to the game myself, just because it's kind of cool to listen to with commentary and all that. But box score in this one, Westbrook dropped 29 points. Turned back the clock. Evans dropped 21 points, but he ends up getting finals MVP. 9 assists, maybe that helped him out a bit. And the 3 steals and 2 blocks. Semenko dropped 18 points. We had Rex on 16, Bishop on 12, Washburn on 11, Goodwin on 10, and then everybody else was 5 and below. But we had some decent stats from our roster. Bowman was the only guy that didn't play in that game, apparently, but he's now a champion as well. And looks like Macy did a good job for them for the most part, but they weren't getting the same effort from Edgecombe as in past games, and that maybe was the difference in the game at the end of the day. But if we look at team comparison, in the total game, this is the team comparison in case you guys wanted to see. Technically, we were better in field goal percentage and three-point percentage. Both teams were identical in free throws, 27 for 28, which is kind of interesting. We beat them in like fast break points and points in the paint and all that stuff, so that's probably where we end up winning. But you can see after every single quarter, we were the better team in, I guess, the first half total. And yeah, the entire game, we were the better team. So a very convincing victory and a 4th straight championship. Let's go. Let's friggin' go. All right. So there is our 4th straight championship, and there is another finals MVP for Jerome Evans. 19.6 points per game, apparently. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But another championship. It took 7 games this year, but it's still another championship. As now, when we go to click on our team player card here, you can see that we are a 4-time NBA champion in 7 playoff appearances. That's crazy. Our average age is definitely going up because we're now an average age of 26, but absolutely filthy team is this one. And Jerome Evans, like I said, his career so far has been absolutely insane on the award trajectory. Like, he's an NBA champion 4 times now at the age of 25. He's got 3 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs, 5 All-Star games, 3 first-team All-NBA, and 1 sixth man. So he is definitely an insanely good player, and I'm glad that we got that first overall pick in 2031. If we didn't get that first overall pick in 2031 from that draft lottery, I don't know if we would have won as much championships as we have, but he's been absolutely as advertised for this roster, and it's been absolutely huge for us. So I think that's all we're going to do in this episode, because I think next episode I'll show you guys the player stats and all that stuff before we get to the offseason, just because obviously this episode's been a little bit long. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Ranker's Ice Tigers Draft Glory MyNBA. So in next episode, we'll obviously have another offseason. If you guys want me to continue the series, we could definitely go for a 5th straight championship. It's crazy that we've won 4. Obviously, this one was definitely our toughest task yet, so it could be that it gets tougher and tougher from here on out. But I do think our team still could easily win a 5th if we maintain this roster for the most part in the offseason. So let me know that below, and I'll see you guys next time.